Living history. What is living history? What does it mean to reenact? That's a question that's always fascinated me because, quite frankly, I believe that reenacting and living history is very important to historians, especially in getting people involved and interested in said history. And quite frankly, reenacting, it looks really cool. You get to wear all those old uniforms, the black powder smoke from your musket, marching around and everything like that in the middle of a field, recreating these epic moments within history. But that's just on the surface, right? That element there. What do the reenactors actually think of living history about reenacting itself? Well, I got curious about that, and I went to a small event hosted by the Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington Railway Museum. It was a rather small event known as the Road to Togus with the 3rd Maine Regiment. I managed to snag 2 interviews with a couple of reenactors who shared just their thoughts on reenacting and living history itself. Now, as you'll see that this was a rather small event, this wasn't like something like Gettysburg or more recently, except for the American Revolution, the one at Bunker Hill for the 250th anniversary, no, but I actually like these smaller events because they're much more personal. You can actually sort of get in there and look at, oh, this is what the equipment that a Union soldier in 1865 would have had. You get to see the drills, you get to ask questions, you get to interact in ways that documentaries just can't let you do, and as we'll see with some of these interviews, they tend to agree with me.
At the time of the war, the doctors would give you advice, and one of their basic tenets, all doctors told you at the time, never stand when you can sit, never sit when you can lie down. And that's gospel to us.
When I was a kid, in elementary school, I got in so much trouble that they said you can't go out to recess, you have to stay in the library. And one day they brought in a Civil War reenactor. He was the district IT guy, and he showed me all his gear, and I said, I'm going to do this one day.
I'm a history geek, among other things. I have connections to the war. My great-great-grandfather, Samuel Truxton Lowell from Alna, Maine, just up the road, he was in Company G of the 20th Maine Volunteer Infantry under Joshua Chamberlain. And I heard a lot about him. And then once I finally got into reading some of the better books about the 20th, and I thought, I would really like to try that. But waited until I got divorced before I could do it.
I didn't start until I was in school in Farmington, and I've been reenacting for, 13 years now. So I've always been a Civil War reenactor. I have been with other regiments, so I started with the 15th Alabama. The 15th Alabama is a regiment that charged the 20th Maine on Little Round Top and Gettysburg on the second day of that battle. I was with them for 10 years, and this is my 3rd year with the 3rd Maine.
Yes, I'm a member of Company A of the 3rd Maine, have been for about 15 years. I'm dressed as a member of what was known as the Veterans Reserve Corps late in the war. Earlier in the war, it was called the Invalid Corps. Basically, it's older men who are no longer physically fit to serve in the battle line, or people who have been prior wounded or injured and are no longer physically capable. So they would be filling admin spots, guarding state houses, federal buildings, doing lighter weight work that would free a younger man who's healthier to go into frontline service.
Why do you want to reenact? Is that a lot?
No. It's funny because we were just standing over there in line in the sun in wool uniforms and wondering, why are we doing this again?
Back in 1985 and 86, I was in the Navy stationed in Maryland, and I was a crewman aboard the Maryland Dove, a reproduction sailing ship of the original colonial capital there at St. Mary's City. So I functioned as a topman aboard the ship when we were actually under sail, and then I would be available to give tours to school kids, that sort of thing.
I joined the 3rd Maine because it's the largest reenacting group in Maine for the time period of the Civil War. They're a great group of people. They're fun to be around, and it's just the best. There's, how many of us today? 15, I think there were 20 or 20 something yesterday, and so it's just a great group of people to hang out with and sweat in wool. I like that term, living history. Yeah, I think that literally defines what it is. We are living and we are educating the public on a historical period in time.
I wanted to teach U.S. history, and while I was student teaching, I found that the kids connected with things they can touch, that they can see for real. You can throw names and dates at them all day long and it just went in one ear and out the other, if it even makes it that far. But when you can let them connect with artifacts or a good reproduction of an artifact, it makes it real for them and makes it something that they can actually have an interest in. And it was anything that I could get through personally to the kids, get down on their level, talk to them directly, don't look down at them and just push facts at them, make it real. I was down in Texas for a couple of years, and I was a docent at the Texas Civil War Museum that used to be in White Settlement, Texas. I was their only federal. Dress them in the coat. I would put all the leather gear on them, give them an idea of what it felt like to wear that stuff. And it said, okay, now let's go outside and march 20 miles. And this is all the water you're going to have is just this canteen. And tell me how real that is. It got through to people.
This is an opportunity to, instead of just reading a textbook, you're teaching other people about this period in time, and I think that's kind of cool to do it with other people that are into it. And then when the public is interested, that's pretty awesome too. And this is a good way to keep it engaging, I would say. I love to read, but not everybody does.
Unfortunately, because of the way how this event was set up, I only got to chat with really 2 people. I was very thankful, though, for these 2. I'm unbelievably thankful to the 3rd Maine for allowing me to even get this much footage and allowing me to go in there and talk with a couple of their people. And I'm very thankful to them for helping keeping history alive. And with the Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington Railway Museum. They're doing some absolutely awesome work out there, and I'd be hard-pressed for you to find something as cool and as intimate as something as that. And, you know, maybe by some miracle, I'm hoping that this might help others join the 3rd Maine or even possibly just become more interested in history itself, like stuff like this did with me. You know, that's the ultimate goal. So if you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. We have tons more history content on this channel. AN Productions is a channel dedicated to military history, film history, and history in general. More content is on the way soon. See you there.